Welcome to the Mystic Spiral, the podcast where earth-rooted magic, animal wisdom, and ancient enchantment twist together like a serpent and a snail in the moss. Join us as we explore the unseen, the intuitive, and the beautifully strange.
Each episode invites you deeper into the spiral, into the myth, and into the wild magic that lives within and around all of us.
Hi, I'm Lauren, crystal healer, earth-rooted mystic, and friend of snails and mossy fae folk magic.
And I'm Laura, animal communicator, serpentkin fauna witch, and solitary sigil practitioner.
Hey Mythlings! Welcome back to the Mystic Spiral. Today we're doing a deep mystical dive and learning all about Aleister Crowley. We mentioned him last week as the creator of the Thoth Deck.
As the Queen Bailey Sarian says, buckle up kitty cats, it's going to be a wild ride. A quick disclaimer, this is going to be a strictly adult-only episode. Our core audience is adults, but just in case you have little ears around, we wanted to warn you that there are a lot of mature themes, and even the bravest among you may get some mental whiplash.
As a friendly reminder, if questions should arise during this episode, you can send them to us at mysticspiralpodcast@gmail.com, and we will address them in the next Q&A episode. Well, this is going to be a very juicy episode, and we're just going to dive right in with the birth of the beast.
So, Aleister Crowley was born Edward Alexander Crowley on October 12th, 1875. So he's a Libra, same. And he was born in England. He was born to wealthy parents who converted to evangelical Christianity before he was born.
Sorry.
Understandable. He felt that way too, kind of. His father was noted to be devout and liked to preach to others. And at the time when Aleister was a child, he really looked up to his father. It wasn't until after his father died that he started to question his faith.
Mm-hmm.
It's also said that his mother called Aleister the Beast, and they didn't have a great relationship. But I found some reports that said that she wasn't nice to him, and it was kind of a mutually strained relationship. And I also found another report that said that Aleister treated her like a servant.
Rude.
Right. And he was a wealthy white guy,
right.
White child in that age. So I can see either of them being true.
Yeah.
But both of his parents also called him Alec.
Interesting. Okay.
His father was wealthy, not because of what he was doing really, but because he was the son of, or in a family brewing business, Crowley's Alton Ales. So when Aleister was 8, just like all of the other wealthy white people in that time, he was sent to a Christian boarding school, and he seemed to do okay there for a while. Okay. But when he was 11, his father died, and that's when things started to change for him.
Okay.
He inherited 1/3 of his father's wealth, and then he started acting out a little and questioning his faith a little. It would get worse in a few years, but he was also removed from his boarding school because he developed a condition that is usually caused from damaged or diseased kidneys.
Well, that's no fun.
It sounds awful, actually. But he did go on to go to multiple colleges, and they sounded like they were pretty heavily Christian colleges.
Okay.
And this is where he really started to question his faith and kind of rebel against what his teachers were teaching him about the religion. This is funny because it said that he rebelled by masturbating.
Oh my.
But also he spent a lot of time, this is where he started spending time with sex workers, where he got gonorrhea, and also he rebelled by smoking.
I'm sure that also helped the kidney disease.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
He went to another college called Eastbourne College, and that's where he started to develop interests outside of rebelling against religion, like chess and poetry and mountain climbing, and he started to make friends with similar interests.
Oh, awesome. All right. So, masturbation, now friends.
Yeah. Chess.
Yeah, chess is great. New hobbies. Fantastic.
He used those hobbies for the rest of his life, actually. He was a really prolific poet and mountain climber, and he actually, for a while, he considered being professional in chess.
That's awesome.
In 1985, at the age of 20, he adopted the name Aleister, and his quote about that is, "To adopt it would satisfy my romantic ideals," which is very poetic. And then he started at another college, Trinity College at Cambridge University in England, where he studied philosophy, but he eventually switched over to English literature.
Okay.
Some sources say he was bisexual, some say he was pansexual. I'm not sure what he would call himself.
Sure.
But he did not seem to discriminate against the genders.
Right.
He was pretty sexually active with anybody.
He enjoyed it all.
He enjoyed it all. Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, though, homosexual activities were illegal in England, and he did them anyway.
Good for Aleister. Him. Yeah. Rebel.
The first relationship that he had on record was with a man named Herbert Charles Pullet. Mm-hmm. They called him, in the record, it's called a female impersonator. Basically, he did drag, but it also says that female impersonators are a different thing because they're not queer. But also, he was in a relationship with Aleister, so he kind of was a little queer, at least.
I mean, yeah. I feel like back then, too, like, people who... Like, I'm thinking about, like, Shakespearean plays and things like that. Like, men always portrayed as women. So,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
So maybe in their mind's eyes, it wasn't necessarily queer culture at that time.
Right.
You know?
So that was his first recorded relationship with a man. And also, I think it was his first recorded relationship in general. I think before that, it was just purely sexual.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that relationship started, began his intense interest in the occult, which Pullet was not really interested in. So they broke up over it, and it is also said that Crowley regretted that for many years.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like they really connected.
Yeah.
And also that same year, Aleister went to St. Petersburg, Russia to learn Russian, and also he wanted to become a diplomat for a career.
You know, he's just an overachiever, that Aleister.
He just went everywhere and tried everything.
You know, instead of just like, you know, learning Russian, I'm gonna like go there and do this and become a diplomat there.
All in. But while he was there, he got an illness that really caused him to consider his own mortality.
Uh-oh.
And so he abandoned that to pursue the occult, which was his real passion.
Do you know what the illness was?
It did not say in the sources that I found.
Okay.
It's hard to know from the 1800s what sources are super accurate and like...
Exactly.
That was also before he started to write everything down. He did a really good job of sort of scientifically writing out all of the details of his rituals and things like that when he was summoning, you know, the demon Coranzon.
Right.
He did a really detailed thing that was published, actually, I think.
Like a book of shadows of his own type of thing?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. But also he wanted to be really scientific about it. He wanted people that were practicing to write down what worked and what didn't work and have all of that information ready.
That's really cool.
Yeah. But this was before he started to write everything down like that, I think. In his autobiography much later, he described his life purpose as, quote, "to bring Oriental wisdom to Europe and to restore paganism in a purer form," unquote.
Okay.
And in 1898, he obtained A.E. Waite's book, The Book of Black Magic and of Pacts. And he was so intrigued by this that he wrote to Waite and requesting more information. And Waite wrote back to him recommending Carl von Eckartshausen's The Cloud Upon the Sanctuary book. They both helped inspire and propel Aleister further into the occult. He was already interested, but he really found those light a fire under his butt. In that same year, he left Cambridge without a degree. He left all of the colleges without a degree.
Rebellious. Okay.
He just went to a whole bunch of colleges and just left.
Yeah. It's all right.
Why not try all of the things?
Exactly.
In August of 1898, he met a chemist in Switzerland named Julian L. Baker, who was also interested in alchemy. And Julian introduced him to George Cecil Jones, who then introduced him to the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, which is an occult society that he was initiated into. Pretty quickly. He moved pretty quickly into this.
Yeah, it sounds it. Jeez Louise. All right.
He was initiated into it by the leader Samuel Liddell McGregor Mathers. That guy has so many names.
That's, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then he quickly moved into a luxury flat and asked a senior member of the Golden Dawn, Alan Bennett, to live with him and teach him magic.
I bet he did.
So he learned a lot about ceremonial magic, ritualistic drug use.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is when he started to write things down about the rituals that he was doing. And then Bennett moved to South Asia to study Buddhism.
That's a hard left.
It sure is.
Okay, well, in 3 years, 4 years, I don't even know how many years, just a very short period of time, he went to Trinity College, he went to all these other places, he did so many things.
He tried to go to Russia and become a diplomat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, what? Okay.
It gets better.
Oh, okay. All right.
This is nothing. Aleister was a guy.
Oh my gosh.
In November 1899, he purchased the Boleskine House in Scotland. This house is huge, and it's on the Loch Ness, like the monster.
Ooh.
And the house was also later owned by the Led Zeppelin guitarist. But a fire destroyed a lot of it in 2019, so what's there now is rebuilt.
Oh, that's too bad.
And it's said that place is really haunted.
I bet.
I bet too. They think that, people who say it's haunted think that he did not put the demons back after he summoned them.
I bet not, yeah.
I'm sure that he did
There's
not do
all
that.
these portals open and things.
But he absorbed a lot of Scottish culture, and later he would sort of leave his wife and child there while he went all around the world and learned a whole bunch of different things, met a whole bunch of different people. He also started to publish a lot of poetry at this time, which he published so much poetry all throughout his life. The homoerotic porn poetry had to be published overseas, though, because English authorities would have been really upset about that.
Mad. Yeah, big mad. Mm-hmm. I can't believe he left his wife and kid. Like, here, stay at this nicely haunted mansion.
I don't know if he thought it was haunted then.
No. Well, maybe it wasn't haunted quite yet.
I don't know if he had summoned all of the demons at that point.
Right. You just stay here. I'm going to go have fun boning all these people in different countries.
That was Aleister.
Yeah.
So he progressed through the Golden Dawn order pretty quickly, and he was ready to enter the Inner Second Order, but the other people in the order refused to initiate him because of his bisexuality and what they called his libertine lifestyle, which I don't disagree with that title, but they didn't approve of it. So this caused some feuds, and he went all the way to Paris to see the leader himself, and that guy admitted him into the Second Order.
Hell yeah. All right.
Yeah, Aleister just had all of the money, and he was just, I'll just go to Paris.
You know what? You don't like me? Screw you. I'm going to go talk to the head guy in charge.
I'll just go to Paris myself. Then in 1900, he moved to Mexico, started checking up with a local woman, and continued experimenting with ceremonial magic. At that time, he was learning about John Dee and Edward Kelly's Enochian evocations. Enochian magic is from the 1500s. It's also called Renaissance magic. It produced the Enochian language and writing. It's said to be delivered to Dee and Kelly via angels, and the practice is to invoke and command various spiritual beings.
Very cool. So like almost kind of like calling upon angels and things like that. Yeah,
yes. And later on, we will probably see that Aleister was using it to summon his guardian angels, as well as the demons.
Right.
He was not picky about anybody. He was also initiated into Freemasonry. He published a play. He climbed mountains there, but one of the trips had to be abandoned because of a volcanic eruption.
Of course.
After that, he went to San Francisco and Hawaii. On the trip, he had an affair with a married woman on the boat, and he wrote a bunch of poetry about her.
Okay.
He then went to Japan, Hong Kong, and then to Ceylon, which is now called Sri Lanka, to visit the Bennett guy who taught him magic and then became a Buddhist monk.
Okay.
Then he went to India and devoted himself to the Hindu practice of Raja Yoga. I hope I'm not butchering that.
Oh my gosh, this man did literally everything.
He went to every country and learned all about all of their religions and mythologies.
I can't even imagine that. My brain would explode with the information.
He was just so, even with a third of his father's wealth, he was so rich that he could literally just go wherever he wanted, whenever he wanted. He believed it helped him achieve the spiritual state dhyana, which is basically meditation and contemplation. He also wrote poetry. He contracted malaria. He and some friends attempted K2, but they got influenza, malaria, and snow blindness, which is
Jesus.
Yeah, it's snow blindness is a really painful eye condition, which is basically like a sunburn of the cornea.
Ah,
So it sounds awful. They made it to 20,000 feet before they had to turn back.
I mean, I can't even like phew, to
I don't know if I
climb
could walk back.
K2. I just can't even imagine. Especially during that time, like there's no oxygen tanks, there's no, you know what I mean?
Right, you can't call somebody if you get stuck.
Yeah, there's no helicopter flying you down.
Nope. And he did it.
Oh my gosh. While, dying, basically.
Yep. So in November of 1902, he became a part of the Parisian art scene through a friend and painter called Gerald Kelly. And then in August 1903, he married Kelly's sister, Rose Edith Kelly. But he didn't check in with Gerald before marrying his sister.
Oh.
So it caused some tension. It caused some tension between the pair of friends. And also her family was appalled.
I mean, this guy kind of has a reputation. I don't blame them.
I don't either. It says that the marriage was to prevent her from having to enter an arranged marriage. She had been married before and her husband died. So I think they wanted her to get married again, and he was trying to save her from that. But also, they were experimenting in esoteric sex rituals and tantra, so it seems like they had more interest than just him saving her from.
So they were on the same page.
They were on the same page.
They're like, you know what, this is yes. I'll take your money and your schlong.
Yep.
And I get to practice magic.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Why not? Why not? Good for her.
Yeah.
So they went on their honeymoon, and in 1904 they arrived in Cairo, and they pretended to be a prince and princess to get things.
Fun. That sounds fun.
Mm-hmm. So they set up a temple room and began invoking the ancient Egyptian gods. They studied Islamic mysticism and Arabic, and she started to hear voices that identified themselves as the god Horus.
Fascinating. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So through the voices, she led Crowley to a museum in the area, and the exhibit that she took him to was called the Stele of Ankh-Khonsu. He felt this was important, but also that the exhibit number being 666 was important. So he referred to it as the Stele of Revealing.
Interesting. Okay.
He also began hearing a disembodied voice identifying itself as a messenger of Horus called Aiwass.
Okay.
And Aiwass will come up a bunch of times later for Aleister Crowley. During this time, he wrote down everything that voice said to him over the next 3 days, and that became the Book of the Law, which was the first book in his religion, Thelema.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
The book said that humanity was entering a new eon, and Crowley was a prophet. It also, like I said, it eventually became the cornerstone of Thelema, but he also put it away and ignored it for a while.
Okay.
He rejected the instructions which told him to steal the Stele of Revealing from the museum.
Okay.
It also wanted him to translate the book into all of the world's languages. He did send some copies to other occultists before he hid it from himself at the house in Scotland.
Why would he hide it from himself?
He was in denial about being a prophet.
Oh, Aleister.
Don't worry. He'll get into it later.
He'll recoup.
In 1905, he returned to the house in Boleskine, and he believed, for some reason, that Mathers, the leader with many names, was using magic against him.
Rude.
So the relationship between those two broke down.
Mm-hmm.
Later that year, Rose gave birth to their first child, who they called Lilith, but her full given name is Nuit Ma Ahathor Hecate Sappho Jezebel Lilith.
But we'll just call her Little Lil.
Right. While she was recovering from giving birth, Crowley wrote her porn stories and poems to entertain her.
Oh, how sweet.
Very creative guy.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
He also founded a publishing company and named it the Society for Propagation of Religious Truth in order to mock the Society for Promoting Christian Knowledge, and also so he could publish his own works instead of relying on other people to do it.
Right, right. I love that, like, Jezebel is in her name. I'm sorry, we're going backwards, but...
She's got everything in her name.
She's got everything in her name. I'm just going to write porn for you, but also, let's name my child Jezebel.
Mm-hmm. Also around this time, he climbed Kanchenjunga in Nepal, which some people call one of the world's most treacherous mountains. He did this with other mountaineers, and they eventually mutinied against Crowley as the leader. And even though he told them it was dangerous and dumb to do, they left him and climbed down the mountain as night was falling.
Yeah, that does not sound like a smart thing to do at all.
No, I don't care how experienced you are. That's dumb. He was right. So some of them died, and the entire mountaineering community blamed Crowley because he was the leader of the group.
They should just be blaming the stupidity of these people.
I agree. He even told them not to do it, but what can you do?
Now this is what, 1905-ish?
Yeah.
Early 1900s. So we're talking, there's no flashlights.
Right. No flashlights, nobody to come and save you.
Yeah. What do you have, a kerosene lantern that you're climbing down a mountain with at night? No thanks.
One of the most treacherous mountains.
Yes. Yeah. No.
That it was well known at the time.
Correct.
But then he went big game hunting in India, and he wrote some more homoerotic poetry.
Oh,
His
wow.
wife and daughter met him in Calcutta, and they had to leave. They all had to leave when he shot two guys that were trying to rob him.
Oh, okay.
He didn't kill him, though.
Well, I mean, you know.
What can you do?
What can you do? What can you do?
So then they all went to visit the Bennett guy again in Burma. They went to China, they smoked opium, and they worked on more magical stuff.
Oh, wow.
They did a ritual invocation to his guardian angel.
Do you think the children are also smoking opium with the parents?
Based on the information that I have of Aleister Crowley in 2026, I don't believe he would have put the child in a different room while they were smoking opium necessarily.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, from the way it sounds like, hey, little Lilith, like, let's...
this is what we're doing.
We're gonna smoke some opium.
Yeah. And actually, we're gonna find out later that he subjected some children to other things, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so right. I don't know if he protected Lilith from this.
Yeah.
But Rose and Lilith went back to Europe, and later Crowley would learn that his daughter died of typhoid on the trip back.
Oh, that's too bad.
And
at least she got some opium in her.
Maybe it eased her suffering. I don't know.
Perhaps.
But he eventually blamed Rose's alcoholism for this.
Of course. Blame the woman.
Of course.
Yeah.
When they left him, he went to Shanghai to meet his old friend and sex friend from the Golden Dawn, and she was also fascinated by the Book of Law that he had written. So together they performed some of the rituals to summon Aiwass before he then left and went to Japan and then Canada, then New York City before going home to learn about his daughter dying.
Can you imagine you're gone for like months and the wife's sitting there mourning the death of the daughter, and like you get back and you're like, oh, she's been dead for like 3 months or something?
And it's your fault because you were drinking.
Right. Wild. Absolutely wild.
He became really ill because of the stress of learning that his daughter had died.
Oh, well, that's something, I guess.
It required surgeries. And he also then cheated on his wife with 2 women, probably more if we're honest, but these are the ones that we know about.
Right, that checks.
And while his wife was pregnant and giving birth to his second child, a daughter named Lola Zaza.
Wow, nice porn star name.
One of the women he was having sex with at the time was named Vera, but went by Lola.
Interesting.
I don't think that's a coincidence.
That is not a coincidence.
In 1907, Crowley felt that he had attained samadhi, a state of meditative consciousness, through performing rituals with his old friend and mentor George Cecil Jones, and they used hashish while they were doing this and published an essay on it in 1909. Crowley and a lot of the people, like I said earlier, doing the rituals with him in ceremonies, felt it was important to write down their magical experiments like a scientist would.
I'm glad that they did, so now we can read about it later.
And he published everything that he wrote for the most part. So
right.
It's all worth finding. Like thousands of things he wrote and published.
We're going to have to find all this stuff out. Maybe little bits at a time.
I don't know if the world is ready.
That's true too.
So he also said that he was contacted by Aiwass again in 1907 to dictate 2 more books to him. They were Liber 7 and Liber Cordis Cincti Serpente, and both were later added to the Holy Books of Thelema. There were 15 works total.
That is insane.
And that's just for Thelema. I mean, we've got a whole bunch of homoerotic poetry and regular poetry.
Right, and we're talking like a very short period of time.
Yes.
Like, I don't understand. It's amazing. You know?
There was nothing stopping this man. He just did whatever he wanted all of the time.
Yeah.
Also in 1907, he and his friend Jones decided to found a separate occult order to be a successor to the Order of the Golden Dawn, which they both were initiated into.
Mm-hmm.
And they called it AA. They borrowed their rights from the Golden Dawn, but they added a Thelemic spin on them.
Okay.
In July of 1909, he found the original book of law that he had put away and decided that then Thelema represented the objective truth, but his inheritance was also running out, so he had to start taking on clients for his magic.
Mm.
The Earl of Tankerville, George Montague Bennett, hired him to protect him from witchcraft. Crowley realized that his paranoia was from the cocaine that he was doing.
Of course it was.
And I appreciate this about Crowley. He didn't protect him from magic. He took him on vacation to France and Morocco instead so that he could chill his brain out.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so he wasn't
taking advantage of him.
Okay, that's nice.
I can't say that for any of his other students, but this guy he didn't.
Right.
He started taking on paying students around this time who wanted to learn about the occult. His student Victor Newberg became his sexual partner as well.
Of course.
While he was still married to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And they vacationed together in Spain and Morocco and engaged in sadomasochism in the following year at his Scotland house, where his wife and children were, I think.
Oh, fun. Okay.
So I think that this was more of a relationship.
Right. Like now they have an open marriage, and what's this guy's name?
I don't know if Rose knew that she was in an open marriage. I don't know if she also practiced.
I see. She was probably just like, that's just Al for you.
That might be why she drank so much.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, in November 1909, Crowley divorced Rose because of her alcoholism and his adultery. What a nice guy. But he let her and their daughter stay at the Scotland house.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
And in 1911, he had her institutionalized for alcoholism, which is a really nice way to say he put her in an asylum.
Yeah.
She remarried after Crowley in 1912, and I believe that man was a doctor.
Well, that's good. So she had a glow up.
I think so. It sounded like she had a much better time with that guy. I think she took Lola with her.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so too. I think Crowley even probably hoped so.
Well, yeah, then he has more free reign to do the fun things.
And he did.
Yeah.
Also in November 1909, Crowley and Newberg, his new boyfriend, went to Algeria to tour the desert, and Crowley recited the Quran to protect himself from his growing feelings of awe and dread. They also invoked the 30 Ethers of Enochian magic and recorded their results at this point, which were also later published.
Okay.
They did a mountaintop sex ritual. And
of course they did.
And of course, Crowley used a blood sacrifice ritual to summon the demon Corazon.
We had to invite him.
Which apparently worked, and he showed himself to them in the body of a very sexy Parisian woman that he had known and slept with.
Oh.
And also then a holy man, and then a serpent.
Wow.
The sex ritual worked.
I feel like that's an overachiever right there.
I agree. He really wanted a part of that.
Yeah.
So in January 1910, they came back to London, and Mathers, who is the leader with many names, who also Crowley believed was using magic against him, was suing Crowley for publishing Golden Dawn secrets in his book, The Equinox. The court ruled in favor of Crowley, but the case caused him to get a lot more attention, which he was very into.
Oh, yeah.
He played up the sensationalism factor in the stereotypes of being called a Satanist who performed human sacrifice. He wanted the attention, even though it's hard to say he didn't participate in either. Some sources say he did, some sources say he didn't.
That he didn't participate in Satanism?
Yes, but I think regardless whether he did or not, he would have done this for the attention.
That's true. But he did have that Satanistic tryst on top of that mountain, though.
He sure did. I just don't think he was very discriminatory. Why not try it all?
Yeah.
So this sensationalism and all of the attention caused more people to join the AA, and he found a new lover in an Australian violinist.
Ooh. Now, male or female, not that it matters.
That was a woman.
Okay.
He wanted to expand his audience even further, so he developed a public performance where the AA members personified various deities and called it the Rites of Artemis. Attendees were given fruit punch laced with peyote.
You had to lace it with something.
I don't know if they were aware of this or not. He traveled some more with his new violinist lady. He wrote a lot more poetry, short stories, plays, magic works, including the final 2 holy books of Thelema. Around this time, Crowley popularized the spelling of magic with a K, While that spelling of magic appeared in texts as early as 1704, he wanted to use it and popularize it again to make it clear that what he was doing was not the same as the illusions that stage magicians were doing.
Well, at least that's a positive thing on his behalf, you know?
And we still use that today.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of positive things that he's done, even though a lot of the other things are pretty horrific. But, you know, balance, I guess?
He made a splash. In 1912, he published a book called The Book of Lies, and he was shortly after that accused by a man named Theodore Roos of publishing secrets from the Ordo Templi Orientis occult order. But Crowley convinced him that the common things were coincidence, and they became friends.
Oh.
So that guy appointed Crowley the head of the British branch of the OTO, and Crowley really liked the emphasis on their sex magic.
Oh, shocker.
He developed a ritual based on anal sex for the members who were being initiated to the 11th degree of the order.
Fun times, okay.
In January 1914, he was still with Newberg. They were still having a relationship.
No, wait. No. Which one's Newberg?
The guy that he was seeing while he was also seeing the violinist.
I see, okay.
This is the guy that summoned Corns on with him.
Oh, right. The tryst on the Demon Hill.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes, and they settled into an apartment in Paris where they had a 6-week-long sex magic ritual.
Wow.
Which sometimes included the journalist called Walter Durante.
just come on by on Tuesday at 9. We'll still be at it.
It said sometimes included. I think the guy just came and went whenever he felt like it.
Yeah. That means 2 things.
Yes. So, Crowley wrote a treatise on sex magic, and this is around the time when Newberg began to distance himself from Crowley. There was a little bit of a falling out, and this caused Crowley to curse him.
Oh, too bad.
So, his inheritance was also gone, and he was relying on AA members' donations and dues payments to survive. And he had to transfer the ownership of the house in Scotland to the British chapter of the OTO that he was running for financial reasons, probably so it didn't get taken away.
Mm-hmm.
But he still went mountaineering in the Swiss Alps, though.
Oh, you gotta do that.
Gotta. And that's where he was when the First World War began.
Ooh, spicy.
It's also said that he may have been a spy around this time.
Oh, fun.
For British intelligence.
Of course, you know.
I'm not sure I believe that. We'll get into that later.
Okay.
At some point, he got someone's wife pregnant around this time while they were doing the sex magic, and she miscarried. And then he moved to the U.S., a bunch of cities, including New Orleans and New York City. And he eventually returned to London with no money at all.
Okay.
But his asthma was bothering him a lot, so his doctors prescribed him heroin.
Of course they do, because why not?
And obviously he became addicted.
You know, as one does.
As one
with heroin,
does.
You know?
Prescription heroin. So then he moved to Paris and started having a 3-way relationship with 2 women. At least one of them already had children. And then he moved them all to Italy to basically form a commune.
Oh, okay.
And he decided that he wanted to raise the children, who were not his, in the way of playing all day and allowing them to witness the sex rituals.
Oh, okay. Didn't give a damn about the first 2 children he birthed himself, but these 2 children can now watch the sex rituals.
That's why I'm not sure that he moved Lilith away from the opium.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
He was still, quote unquote, renting boys and also buying drugs, and apparently heroin was taking over his life. But cocaine was also eroding his nasal cavity.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Yeah, so he was just kind of falling apart. Followers kept coming and learning magic and sex, but somehow only one man is said to have complained about the same sex rituals that he didn't want to be required to do.
Okay.
There was a lot of arguing between him and Crowley, and he left after a year.
Okay.
Also, a man moved himself with his wife to the commune, and that man later died from a liver infection from drinking polluted water. So his wife, who did not like the whole situation to begin with, went to the press in London.
Oh, no.
And she told him that her husband was made to drink sacrificed cat blood, and that they both had to cut themselves with razors whenever they used the pronoun I.
What? Okay.
I don't know if I believe or disbelieve it.
Yeah.
It might be dramatized. It might not be. It might be completely accurate.
That's wild. Okay.
But because this was in Italy and it was such a sensationalized story, Mussolini heard about it and he deported Crowley, so the commune closed without him.
Oh, sorry.
He tried to give up heroin multiple times throughout the rest of his life, and for a little while he did succeed. He did not give up sex with men or women. He just kept doing that.
Yep.
Probably until he died, actually.
I'm sure he did, yeah.
He got syphilis from another sex worker at some point. He moved to Berlin, and when he was visiting Lisbon, Portugal, he faked his own death with the help of friend and poet Fernando Pessoa.
Oh, okay.
He returned to Berlin a few weeks later. Everybody still thought he was dead.
Yeah.
And he reappeared at the opening of his own art exhibition.
Oh, surprise!
Surprise! He had his second nasal surgery because of the cocaine in 1932 to try and fix the damage. He was still very poor and needed money really bad, so he sued a bunch of the people that he felt had libeled him when they were calling him a Satanist and all of these other things.
Right, okay.
He was successful for some of them, but he was still declared bankrupt in 1935, and at that time it was revealed that he was spending 3 times his income for years.
Wow.
Yeah, he just kept going. Nothing was going to stop this man.
Yeah.
He developed a friendship with a woman named Deidre, and she offered to bear his child. So his son was born in 1937 and was named Randall, but Crowley nicknamed him Aleister Ataturk.
I love how this one's named Randall, but the other one was like Poopa Poopa Tita Poopa, you know?
Lola, Zaza, and Randall.
Yes, Lola, Zaza, and Randall.
Okay. So, going back to the war, Crowley was originally interested in Hitler and the Nazi Party because he thought that Hitler might convert to Thelema, but it was also speculated enough to believe that he was sort of anti-Semitic.
Gross.
So that's why I don't really think that he was a spy. I think that he may have actually been interested in Hitler. But Hitler and the Nazis closed down the German chapter of the OTO, and Crowley changed his mind and started to call Hitler a black magician. Like a scorned lover.
Right. I'm mad at you.
Yeah, so he may just have wanted him to convert to Thelema and get all of the Nazis to do it too.
Right, exactly.
And Thelema features a lot of Hindu gods and yoga and a lot of other things that appear to be sort of an amalgamation of the many theologies that he learned about in his travels. But the core law of Thelema is do what thou wilt.
Okay.
He basically wanted people to pay attention to their own wills and their own thoughts and feelings and just follow them, which I guess is what he did his whole life.
Right. Which I find really interesting because he basically made people do what exactly he wanted them to do.
And he took their money for it.
Right, exactly. So that doesn't make too much sense, Aleister.
I think he meant to do what Aleister wilt.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
So moving on to the Thoth Deck, between 1938 and 1943, Crowley and Lady Frida Harris, an English artist, collabed on the Thoth Deck. He originally intended the deck to be pretty traditional, but Lady Frida encouraged him to add in his occult views, especially because he was so intense about them.
Right, exactly.
So Harris sent Crowley a regular stipend for the project, not the other way around, and this was because she was using her societal contacts to find financial backers for her art projects, including the deck. She apparently insisted on anonymity throughout the project, but really liked working for a notorious man. And he was notorious.
For sure.
Though she wanted to be anonymous, Crowley did praise her in the Book of Thoth, but also he called in some lawyers to protect his 66% of the project, so there must have been some tension in there somewhere.
I love that he had 66% of the project.
I am sure that if he could have, he would have had 666%.
Mm-hmm.
In 1940, his asthma worsened again, and because Germany was where his non-heroin medicine was coming from, and Germany was full of Nazis, the doctor prescribed him heroin again, and he again became addicted.
Oh my god. You would think that the doctors would learn by now.
I don't think they had another option at the time. The medication was being made in Germany.
That's true.
Heroin was their only go-to.
Here you go.
On December 1st, 1947, Crowley died at the age of 72 of chronic bronchitis that was aggravated by pleurisy, which is the inflammation of the membrane surrounding the heart and chest cavity, and myocardial/heart muscle degeneration. Only about 12 people attended his funeral.
That's crazy.
I agree.
Huh, okay.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Also, what's really interesting to me is that he was cremated and his ashes were sent to Carl Germer, the U.S. representative of the OTO, who buried them in his garden in New Jersey.
Huh. I think that's the best fact of this whole thing.
It's certainly the weirdest, I think, compared to everything else.
Yeah. They're like, well, let's just throw them in the vegetable garden. Here we go.
That seems like Crowley to me. In my research, it wasn't clear if Crowley knew Carl Germer, Or if he had been to New Jersey, he traveled so much and he met so many people and he had sex with so many people.
Right.
But it wasn't immediately clear that like this was a friend of his that he knew and he was sending his ashes to him.
Right. This could have just been Joe Schmo that actually just worked for the OTO in New Jersey.
Right. He might have just said, send this guy a package with my ashes in it and tell him to bury it in his garden.
Right. I mean, I believe it.
Anything is believable with this guy.
Well, this was an intense episode today. If any of you out there listening have a spark from this episode or want to learn more about something, either about maybe going into a deeper dive of Thelema itself or maybe the Golden Dawn itself, send us a message. Let us know what you think, and we will definitely take you up on that, and that'll be a future episode.
Before we leave today, we're going to pull a card. Today we obviously felt called to use the Thoth Deck by Sir Aleister Crowley and Lady Freda Harris. As a friendly reminder, please take what resonates with you and simply leave the rest.
All right, Crowley. What would you like all the listeners to know? Is there a specific card that you feel called to show us today for this? Prince of Wands. This card is interesting. It is, let me show Laura here. How would you describe that card?
I don't know for the first time in my life. This is, well, there's a tiger and a naked human dancing on top of him with a wand in the sun. And I'm not really sure what symbol is on his head or instead of a head.
Yeah, and it's like, it's got like orange and red.
Right,
and...
they're like dancing on a flame, basically. And there's also a pillar with a flame behind them.
It is pretty cool. Well, don't you worry. We will be posting this on the social media. The socials, if you will. So today I'm going in a little bit of a different direction. Normally we read from the book, but the book has just like kind of like a small little, guideline of what the card represents. So I've intuited what the card means instead from Crowley, which is something in you is waking up that will not stay small. A creative impulse, a desire, a direction that you've half whispered to yourself. It wants embodiment now. The princess doesn't ask for permission. She asks for movement. She invites you to shed the old husks of self-doubt or politeness that keep your fire contained. This is the energy of becoming visible, of letting your own heat be felt. She says, follow the thing that makes your blood quicken. Let enthusiasm be your compass. Trust the first spark. It's the truest one. If there's a project, a conversation, a risk, or a self-expression that you've been circling, this card is the green light, a wild one, the one that says, run barefoot towards what calls you.
I actually think that's one of the most Crowley messages we could have possibly pulled out of that deck.
I agree. And the listeners on your side can't, like, you guys can't see or hear what's going on around us, but like, since we've been talking about Crowley, things have been moving over here. Interesting things have been happening. So he's definitely
around.
He's around. Yeah, so that message was for whoever needed to hear it.
And next time on the Mystic Spiral, we'll be exploring the differences between folk magic and mainstream magic.
Until then, Mythlings, keep listening and keep your magic soft and steady. Bye for now.